I'd like to call the meeting to order and acknowledge that we are in Treaty 1 territory, the home and traditional lands of the Anishinaabe, Ojibwe, Inuit, Cree, and Dakota peoples, and in the national homeland of the Red River Métis. Our drinking water comes from Shoal Lake 40 First Nation and Treaty 3 territory. I'd like to introduce the members of the panel, the secretary to the board, and the assessor at this time. On the top left, we have Narinder Paul Dangel. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Okay. To the right on Zoom, we have Linda Schultz and myself. My name is Gisela Rempel. I'll be chairing the meeting today. Our assessment department personnel today is Drew Thiessen, and our administrative personnel in the room with me is Zachary Mohan. To the Zoom participants of the hearing, please note, you're placed in the waiting room until your property is called upon. When it's your turn, you will be admitted into the meeting. Kindly follow along on the City of Winnipeg's Board of Revision YouTube channel for the hearing process. Once the host admits you into the hearing, please close or mute your YouTube player. You will then be permitted to speak with respect to your property. Once your hearing has concluded, you can leave the meeting. We will be hearing applications for revision of the assessment roll in accordance with the Municipal Assessment Act. The matters for which revision is requested have been described in each application, and we will limit discussion to those matters. The statements that are made at this hearing are sworn testimony, and anyone speaking to the matters must be sworn in. Be advised that comparisons of assessments of properties are not considered evidence of market value by the Board of Revision. The Board of Revision is appointed annually by council and is independent of it and the city administration. It makes its decisions on the basis of the evidence provided at the hearing and issues a written order that will be mailed to all parties as soon as possible. Please note that the board's decisions with respect to an application may be appealed to the Manitoba Municipal Board if the matter pertains to assessed value or classification, or to the Court of King's Bench if the matter pertains to the application of exemptions from taxation. Should you wish to appeal, information on how to do so will be included with the board's order. With respect to the hearing process, I will confirm the points of appeal with your property to be addressed with each applicant following the swearing in. We will then have the assessor's testimony, followed by questions that the applicant may have, and then the applicant's testimony, followed by questions. Each side will have an opportunity to summarize if they wish. Once all of the evidence about an application has been brought forward, the applicant may leave. The process will repeat for each item on the docket today. The session will close after all the applications have been heard, and the board will deliberate in private and make its decisions. You will receive the board's decision by registered mail as soon as possible. As information, all public hearings are live streamed, recorded, and will be part of the public record. We will be hearing items 1, 3, and 4 on our docket today. Mr. Mohan, please affirm the assessors and the applicant's testimony.
Of course, Madam Chair. Mr. Assessor, please state your full name.
Drew Thiessen.
Do you affirm that the evidence you're about to give at this hearing is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you. Please stand. Ms. Applicant, please state your full name.
Maria Carota.
Do you affirm that the evidence you're about to give at this hearing is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you. You may be seated.
Thank you. We will now be hearing item number 127 Rivergate Drive. Mr. Assessor, if I could ask you to please make your case.
Absolutely. Thank you. The subject property is located at 27 Rivergate Drive, roll number 08005685900, located in the River Park South neighborhood. It is a split level build, single family dwelling built in 1986. Has a living area of 2392 square feet, has a full part basement that is unfinished in the area that actually is a full type of basement. Has 3 half bathrooms and 2 showers. has central air conditioning, has a fireplace, and has an attached multi-car garage. Lot size is 8380 square feet, and it has a Red River influence, which has basically a small green space between the property and the river itself. There is a path down built into that space, so basically it is kind of like a pond or a river adjacent in a way, but not actually. The comparables are mostly located in the River Park South neighborhood as well. Comp 2 is actually in the Pulberry neighborhood just to the north. They are all split levels built in single family dwellings built between 1975 to 1985, have living areas of 1770 square feet to 1936 square feet. They all have full basements. And they all do have some level of finish in those basements. The bathroom counts are all slightly variable. And Comp 2 is the only one that has an extra fireplace. All other ones do have a fireplace. Comp 1 also has attached single car garage rather than the attached multi-car garage as the other comparables do. And Comp 4 has a sunroom that none of the other comparables or the subject do. The lot sizes range between 4,657 square feet to 10,000 square feet. And there are some land influences. Comp 1 has a back lane and Comp 4 has a hydro transformer box. None of these obviously have the Red River influence or even a pond influence or anything positive in that manner. It is just the basic lots, essentially. And the time adjusted sale prices for these sales ranges between 512,400 to 715,400, with the time adjusted sale prices per square foot ranging between 283.25 to 369.52. There was also a subject sale, and that sold in November of 2021 on the 16th, and it sold for 865,000. The time adjusted sale price on that sale is 874,500. So related to this property as well, I did include in my evidence the MLS listing for the subject sale. That would be to exemplify the level of quality of the build, as well as to kind of show the layout, as well as some of the interesting features. So one of the interesting features here is that it does have kind of a walkout component to the lower split level. So it's not actually at the basement level, but it's the one level above that. So it has a walkout component that would not be typical in a lot of split level builds. And just related to the property, there were errors on the property record that we have corrected. So errors previously existed in the total building area. We previously had on file that it was 2515 square feet and it was a two-story build. The building quality was also at excellent. That was changed to superior to reflect the fact that it is an architectural build style with an oddity of it being a 5-level split and having the high-end finishings and that walkout component that I just mentioned, which is not very common in all the split levels that I have seen. So in a lot of ways with that walkout component, it is kind of similar in a lot of ways to actually having a walkout basement, but it's not actually because it's not at that slab level. But it is definitely a desirable feature, not something that you would typically see in other split levels. Usually it would walk out into the backyard kind of as at the grade level, same level that you enter at. That would be what you would typically see. And yeah. And then just related to the comparables, so Comp 1 does have somewhat similar finishings, but it doesn't have that walkout component or the river. So Comp 2 has inferior finishings, but the basement finish is kind of a very high level superior theater room. And again, doesn't have that walkout component, also doesn't have that river. Comp 3 has inferior finishing, no walkout component, no river. And Comp 4, same thing, inferior finishing, no walkout component, no river. So while we have the sale prices are all not well, for comp two, not significantly lower, but the other ones are pretty significantly lower. That can be explained by the fact that they aren't of the same level of quality as the subject, and also they are all quite a bit smaller than the subject. And then there's also the lot sizes that range too, in addition to the major factor of that river influence. So with all of this being said, the current assessed value we have is 783,000, and that would be 327.34 per square foot. And I believe that that value is supported. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Assessor. Madam applicant, do you have any questions of the assessor at this time?
Yeah, I guess I would ask why no photos of the comps were included? Kind of hard to compare if you have no photos to look at. Just curious.
I did look at the comparables. I didn't include them in my brief, but I did look at them myself. So I did the review, as I said. I did go over what we have for those comparables as well, with the level of finishing, as well as the lack of the walkout component, as well as the lack of the river. So I did go over it. It is in it's in my sworn testimony here.
Actually, because I'm having trouble hearing, could it be,
We'll see if we can.
I'm very deficient in that, so I don't hear half of it. Yeah, I guess, Madam Chair, I suppose it was just difficult to compare properties when, in fact, I have no photographs. I do have the table, which is fine, but no actual photographs. I guess the second question, Madam Chair, that I would direct to Mr. Thiessen is that I notice that the building size in the case of comp 1 and comp 4, they were over 600 square feet less than my property. And with the other two being 456 square feet less and the comp 3 being 583 square feet less. And I'm just wondering, does that, with it being like in the case of two comps, over 25% smaller square footage than my home, I'm just wondering how that represents a fair comparison, Madam Chair. I guess that would be my question posed to Mr. Thiessen.
Yeah, so we would absolutely have to consider the fact that they are significantly smaller, which would result in a larger increase of the actual value on the open market, likely because people would like to have more living area. So they would pay for more living area, higher price for higher living area.
Yeah. Madam Chair, I guess I would just also point out that the value isn't linearly correlated to price. So I would like to point that out. And Madam Chair, I guess my other comment would be that I think someone looking for a home such as mine with similar qualities, in my view, I don't think these comps are, they're lovely homes, but I think it's sort of a different tier group. So I would just like to make that comment.
We're going to give you an opportunity to present your information in a minute. But right now, I'm wondering if you have any other questions of the assessor before we move on to yours.
No, Madam Chair. Actually, Madam Chair, one more question. I would ask if he could give me, like, he said that the build quality has been reclassified to superior. Could he give me at least 5 criteria in which one would consider a building quality superior? Five things so that I could grab my brain around it.
Well, I don't know if we have 5 things, Mr. Assessor, but perhaps you could describe for us the difference between something that would be of superior quality.
Yeah, so like I said here, it was changed to superior to reflect the high level finishings, the oddity of being a 5-level split, the architectural build style related to that 5-level split, and the walkout component related to the split level, lowest level of the split level.
So, Madam Chair, my other comment to that would be that in 2022, I received a revision to my assessed value about 6 months after I purchased the home, where there was an error of omission in which my home was reassessed to account for higher end finishes and whatnot. So that would be my comment, that
Okay,
that was adjusted for at that time.
thank you.
And that's
I
it,
think that
Madam
the
Chair.
assessor also mentioned the omission, and had mentioned that there was also an omission with regards to, or an error with regards to the total number of square feet.
Oh,
and the
yes,
fact that
Madam
it was-
Chair, I kind of pursued that myself and uncovered the error myself recently.
Okay, we're gonna give you an opportunity to make your presentation and
Yes.
to present your comparables in a moment. But in the meantime, I'm wondering, Ms. Schultz, do you have any questions of the assessor? Ms. Schultz, can you hear us? Oh. I think you're on mute.
Yes,
There you go.
not at this time, Madam Chair.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Danjel, do you have any questions?
Yes, I do. In reference to the basement type, can you a little bit define the full basements slash part area? If you can get into a little bit more detail on that, that'll be great.
Absolutely. So the full slash part area would reflect the fact that underneath part of the house there's crawl space, and then for part of the house there's a full basement, so like a full height basement area. So that's what that is reflecting.
So the comparisons do not have a part area at all. They're all full basements.
I'm not 100% sure that that is actually accurate, because typically on a split levels there would actually be that part component. But from the photos that I saw in the listings, it was hard to really tell for sure whether that was the case. So I wouldn't say that that isn't the case, but I can't say for sure that it is the case.
The other question I had was the definition of full baths. The subject property is marked as 0 and the rest of them are marked as 1. Can you a little bit go into details how you came up with 0?
Yeah,
Full
so
bath?
a full bathroom would be a toilet, sink, and bathtub. Whereas a half bathroom with a stand-up shower would be a half bathroom and shower. So sometimes you might see it explained as a full bath when it's actually a toilet, sink, and stand-up shower. We reflect it as toilet, sink, stand-up shower, not toilet, sink, bathtub for the full bath. Full bath would be toilet, sink, bathtub.
I understand. Those are the only questions that I had. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I'm just wondering, Mr. Assessor, if you can elaborate a little bit on the land influences. I noticed that your comp 1, there's a back lane, and comp 4, there's a hydro transmission or hydro transformer box there.
Mhm.
Can you tell me what kind of influence that might have?
So at this point, it doesn't appear that the hydro transformer box has really any any effect on value. That could change, but as of right now, doesn't appear to have any effect. Whereas with the back lane, typically if all other things were equal and one property had back lane and one didn't, it would likely be a negative influence. Probably not very significant negative influence, but all things being equal, that would likely be the case. I can't really put an exact value on it though.
Thank you. And I see that you have listed a subject sale November 16th, 2021 for $865,000. I'm wondering the change in the assessment, your current assessment down to 783. That must include the errors of omission that you have indicated.
Yes, the 783 is reflecting the current condition of the property with because like I said previously, we had it as 2515 square feet. So on my comp sheet, you can see that it's 2392 square feet.
And you had it, I guess, previously as a two-story, but in fact, it's a split.
Yes,
And this is the only one of your comparisons that does not have a finished basement.
correct.
Okay. Those are all my questions. Thank you very much. I will now turn it over to Madam Applicant to make her presentation.
Yes, thank you. Good morning, everyone. My name is Maria Kuroda, property homeowner of 27 Rivergate Drive. Forgive me, I'm a bit slow here. Let me just open up my. Okay, so. So. My property is, as Mr. Thiessen described, in the neighborhood of River Park South. Three levels split, single dwelling, effective bill 2006. Which reflects the error of omission that, the revision from the error of omission back in 2022. And just one correction, the assessed value of 783,000, that came in before the error in the living area was noted because the I in effect was emailing saying that I thought there was an error. And it was like on July 9th that that I got an email saying, yes, indeed, there was an error. They changed it to 2,319. That's why I still have 2,515 marked on my spreadsheet here. So when that 783,000 came in, it was with the old number of 2,515 square feet. I just want to make that clear, because if you look at the timeline, that is indeed the case. So basement full parked area, and the basement is not finished because the full height component is basically a utility room that can only fit the water tank, the furnace, the central vac. It's a very small area, about 9 by 20 feet. Okay, so my first comp is 86 McNulty in the neighborhood of Minnetonka. It's a two-story single dwelling, 1987 build, square living area, 2,697 square feet. It has a full basement that is finished. 4 bedrooms above grade, a central area, yes, triple attached garage, and a sunroom. And it has a land area of 8,450 square feet, and it has the Red River adjacent. That home sold for 800,000, and the time in October of 2022. The time adjusted sale price is 768,500. Comp number 2 is 74 McNulty in the neighborhood of Minnetonka. Again, it's a 2-story single dwelling, year built 1981. Living area of 2,654 square feet with a full basement that is finished. 4 full baths. Sorry, yes, 4 full baths, 1 half bath, 4 bedrooms above grade. Central area, yes. Fireplace, yes. Attached garage, yes. The land area is 8,400 square feet, and it has the Red River adjacent. It sold in July of 2021 for 775,000. And the time adjusted sale price was 822,300. Comp 3, 90 River Haven Grove in Minnetonka again, 2-story, a 2004 build, 2,754 square feet, full basement. Oh, I think I've made an error here. I don't think the basement at River Haven is finished, so sorry, I've got yes, but I think it's no, it's not finished. 4 bedrooms above grade, central air, yes, double attached garage, fireplace, yes. Land area of 7,112 square feet, and there is the commercial influence. It's Saint Amant Center, I think, that is in behind it. It sold in December of 2021 for 710,000, with a time adjusted sale price of 709,300. Comp 4 is 60 Farnsworth Crescent. It's in the neighborhood of River Park South, a 2-story built in 2010. Building area 2,830 square feet. Full basement that is finished. 4 bedrooms above grade, 1 below grade. Fireplace, double attached garage. And it has a land area of 8,551 square feet. And there is a retention pond / lake adjacent, and it has a walkout basement. That sold in January of 2022 for 805,000, with a time adjusted sale price of 794,500. Comp 5 is 67 Vadabon Kerr, again in River Park South, a 2-story, 2005 built, living area of 2,432 square feet with a full basement that is finished. It has 3 bedrooms above grade, 1 below, fireplace, yes, double attached garage. Land area is 5,887 square feet. There's a site influence of a retention pond lake adjacent. And then my 6th comp is 164 Red View in Norman Park. It's a 2-story, a 1994 build, 2,483 square feet living area, full basement that is finished. Fireplace, yes, AC, yes, double attached garage. And it has a land area of 10,373 square feet and it's backing onto the park with the river, the Red River adjacent to the park beyond. It sold in May of 2021 for 620,000, and the time adjusted value is 673,000. I wanted to also make note that I took an average TAD price per square foot of my comps 1 to 6, and I came out with a value of $285.02. And then I took that average value of the 6 comps, which I felt were very representative of my house. And I multiplied it by the living area of 2,392 square feet to come up with a value, a revised value, assessed value of $681,767.84. And then I noted the negative impact of ongoing construction of an 8-story apartment building at 1918 St. Mary's Road. It started in the fall of 2022. It's ongoing. The first phase is projected to be completed by the summer of 2025. And I've found that construction process it's been kind of stressful to the psyche. Because, even at 6 a.m., I can hear the construction vehicles move because you feel shaking. And then, once they do start construction, you have that whole din of the noise. It's just not been it's not the tranquil setting that I had hoped. When I bought the home, there was nothing next door. It was vacant land. I tried to research, because there was an old sign up there, but nothing had been done for 10 years. And so I didn't know what was going up. I suspected that at some point there might be condominiums going up that might be maybe 4-story condominiums, but in fact, in 2022, I guess the construction of an 8-story apartment complex began. So I feel that negatively impacts, and also the fact that, I don't really have a finished basement, that my basement is so small, the full height component, that you couldn't finish it. So I'm not afforded that opportunity. And so I just feel that if I've given a value of minus 20,000 for the negative impact of the ongoing construction next door to come up with a proposed downward revision of 661,000 for my property. And then if we wanted to proceed to the photos, Madam Chair.
I think everyone's had an opportunity to look at the photos. Thank you very much for your very thorough presentation.
Okay.
I'm gonna hand it over to the assessor to see if he has any questions of the applicant.
I do, thank you. So the first question, you said that at the time of purchase, you were completely unaware of any possibility of the apartment development. Is that correct?
I was aware that there would be the possibility of multi-unit family, am I phrasing that correctly? Sorry, multi-family unit dwellings, that there was the potential for that, because there were I think there used to be 3 homes adjacent to south of my property, adjacent. But according to the previous homeowner, she and her husband had lived there like 20 years, and that land had been vacant for over 10 years. And there was an old sign on that, on the road, on St. Mary's Road, and it referenced 1916 on the red. And I tried looking it up to see what that might be, but apparently that went down the wayside. That no longer existed. So I was totally unaware as to what would be going up or when, but I suspected that at some point something would be going up. But at the time that I purchased it, nothing was there.
Okay. And then I noticed that you only included sales of 2-story builds. Is there a reason that you didn't look at any split levels?
Because I tried to find, in fact, I was trying to look for comparable split levels. And I was trying to find properties that as closely as possible resembled mine, i.e. where there was some water influence, because I know that when I was searching for something, that was an important feature for me. So I felt that these comps were very reflective, because all of them, save for one, are bordering either on the river or on a pond, and in the case of the Norman Park, one on green space. And also to that point, to this 2-story comparison. So I did look for split levels, but I didn't find any that were appropriate and similar enough to my property. And when I did my, back in 2022, when my property was still classified actually as a two-story, and it was only upon me pursuing the fact that, hey, guys, this isn't a two-story, but I was told that sometimes the city will classify these split levels as two stories. And then I asked specifically to two assessors, so then can I compare to a two-story build? And they said yes, provided that that two-story build is at least 2,000 square feet or greater. So that's why I used a two-story build, because I was looking for something that was similar to my property. And had I found a four-level split that was similar, I think I found one in but it was too, like, it was a 1960s, and it wasn't reflective, similar enough to my property. Yeah, so that's my answer.
Okay, thank
Yeah.
you. And just related to your comparables there as well, you had just stated that you were looking for the water being a major component.
Water, green space.
So then why is 90 Riverhaven in there when it has no water, no green space, and it actually has the Saint Amant behind it, which is commercial influence?
Well, actually, because it still has a very huge land area. I thought it was comparable in the square footage. And I guess the Saint Amant, I think, is not unlike what's going on next door to me. So it's just one of the comps. I mean, I think I did pretty excellent with my comps, to be quite honest.
Okay, and then just related to that one, I mean, it is not backing onto the river or a pond, as you have mentioned. But it's still sold for 709,000, or the time adjusted 709,000.
Right.
Do you not feel that the river would be a major component to adding value to a property then?
I guess it's all beauty is in the eye of the beholder, and that I think that is reflected in the sales TAD sale price per square foot, because it's at $254.78, so it's in a tad lower. And again, I think I've done a pretty excellent job with my comps, I have to say.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Any further questions, Mr. Thiessen?
I basically just have one more, and it's just, have you made any changes at all to the property since your purchase in 2021?
No.
Okay.
I don't have the money.
And just to confirm, you did pay 865,000 in November of 2021.
Yes, I paid 865,000. Yeah, that's correct.
Okay, I have no further questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Thiessen. Mr. Dunjal, do you have any questions of the applicant?
No, I don't. Thank you very much.
Ms. Schultz, do you have any questions of the applicant?
Yes, I do. Ms. Applicant, you had indicated that you had confirmation that the 783,000 that the assessment is at now was based on the 2,515 square feet.
Yes, because the assessment notice was delivered to me. I have it right here in front of me, June 5th of 2024. My discussions with the assessment department regarding the error in the living area, the emails started, I believe, after June 5th. And I got an email from Patricia Bishop, the coordinator for the area, evaluation officer, on July 9th of 2024, indicating that she had passed on my material to Mr. Thiessen, who reviewed it, because I used the city hand-drawn sketch from 1986, and there was an error, and I pointed it out. And it was only at that time that Mr. Thiessen looked at it, concurred. I also engaged an engineer to measure my square footage. And it was on July 9th that I got the email, and this assessment notice is from June 5th. July 9th, I got an email from Patricia saying that, yes, indeed, there was an error. Mr. Thiessen reviewed it. He concluded 22,392 square feet. And it was at that time that Mr. Thiessen said in that same email, that Mr. Thiessen upgraded my build quality to superior. And to me, which I find strange, because nothing changed from the architectural style is the same. So I was a little perplexed as to how all of a sudden my build quality changes from, I don't know what it was before, good to superior, when all of that had been visited in 2022 when the house was sold. So, yeah, that's.
Can I touch on that? It's up to you.
We're gonna give you an opportunity for rebuttal, Mr.
Okay.
Thiessen. Can it be covered in rebuttal, or would you like to talk to it now?
It might make more sense to talk to it now.
All right, go ahead then, please.
So just related to the changes, we did have an inaccurate property record in other ways previously too. So why would it not be possible that we also had an inaccuracy on the quality of the build? Is why I did my review in that way. Particularly, I did not feel that the walkout component was being reflected, which is a very abnormal feature of split level builds, and it needed to be reflected. It was updated, and the new value, the value as it is now, that's under appeal, 783,000, is reflective of all the changes that were made. So despite the fact that there were notices mailed prior to these conversations, this value is actually reflective of the current updated characteristics, and there would have actually been a slight increase to the value, but we did not pursue the supplementary notices on that for the changes. So that's yeah.
Thank you. Ms. Schultz, do you have any other questions?
Well, can I just ask the assessor, is that 783 that you have based on the lower square footage?
Yes.
Thank you. That's all. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Now I will give an opportunity to the assessor if there is a rebuttal of any kind.
Just basically covering what I said, where it is actually the value as we have it now, 783,000, is reflective of all the changes that have been made. They are reflected on the comparable sheet, as you can see. So 2392 square feet is what we're looking at. We're looking at the change of the quality. We're looking at updates of all the characteristics. Everything that is reflected on that comparable sheet is reflected in that actual $783,000 valuation.
Thank you. Madam applicant, do you have any rebuttal at all?
No, I think that basically, again, I reiterate, the assessment notice was mailed out to me June 5th of 2024. The correction of the square footage, I have an email July 9th of 2024. And in essence, I guess I would say that I stand by my comps. I think they're excellent comps. I've taken an average time adjusted value per square foot, multiplied it by the revised living area of 2,392 square feet. And I come up with a value of $681,767, which I'm proposing would be a more a fairer value for the 2025 assessment. And then I also just wanted to make note that in 2022, where I did appeal for a revision, that the valuation officer, Patricia Bishop, and myself uh, agreed, we had an agreement, no, how do you turn that, I wanna get it correct. We reached an agreement prior to the actual hearing where she viewed all my comps, I viewed all of her comps. And we were in agreement that the value at that time was adjusted downward from 719,000 to 621,000 in 2022. And that was through the whole vetting process of going through the appeals, not reaching that point, but agreeing just prior to the hearing date where my comps were examined, her comps were examined. And
Agreeing to a reduction in the assessment?
yes, what's that called? I think I have that as one of my, let's see.
It was a revision by
Revision
agreement.
by agreement, sorry, it's a revision by agreement.
Okay. Thank you very much for your thorough presentations, both of you. And I think that that concludes this particular matter. We will move on to the next item on our agenda, which is 621 Sherbrooke Street. Thank you.
Well, that's funny, that I grew up at 636 Sherbrooke Street, that's wild. Thank you.
Okay. Excuse me, but before you leave, I thought we might break now if he has to go plug his meter.
Sure, yeah. Now,
Yes, thank you very much for your presentation.
yeah, thanks.
Could you please affirm the first applicants? Thank you.
Please stand. Please state your full name.
What?
Do you affirm that the evidence you're about to give at this hearing is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Thank you.
And could you tell your dad what?
ja, gewoon die met die gewoon 전초에
Oh, okay. Thank you, you may be seated.
Okay, thank you.
And Cognizant applicant, please state your full name.
자연관.
Do you affirm that the evidence you're about to give at this hearing is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Thank you may be seated.
Thank you very much. We've got first time applicants here, so we are going to guide them through the process and be as kind as we can. So I think that I'm gonna hand it over to the assessor to make his presentation, please.
Just before we start, there was the matter of the late evidence
Oh,
submission.
yes, you're right. I'm sorry. The late evidence, the board has decided that we're going to allow that and we will hear the late evidence as well as what was presented before that.
Okay, I have no problem with that.
Good point, Mr. Assessor.
Okay, so the subject property is located at 621 Sherbrooke Street, roll number 130-503-46000. It's located in the Spence neighborhood. It's a 2.5-story build, multifamily conversion, built in 1905, living area of 2050 square feet, has a full basement that is partially finished. It's about 50% finished, has 2 full bathrooms. Doesn't have any central air conditioning, fireplaces, garages, pools, sunrooms, anything like that. Lot size is 2956 square feet, and it has land influences of bus route and heavy traffic being located on Sherbrooke. The comparables are all located in the Spence neighborhood as well. They are all 2.5-story build multifamily conversions built between 1894 to 1907. Living areas of 1764 square feet to 2052 square feet. Comps 1 and 2 do not have finished basements. Comps 3 and 4 do have finished basements, and they are all full basements. The bathroom counts do vary a little bit between the properties. Comp 3 actually does have the same 2 bathrooms as the subject. The rest are a little bit higher. Comp 4 also has a detached single car garage, and the lot sizes range between 2052 square feet to 3203 square feet. For the land influences, comps 1 and 4 do not have any land influences at all. Comp 2 has just a commercial adjacent influence, and then comp 3 has the same as the subject plus a commercial adjacent influence. That commercial adjacent influence is, I believe, a apartment. I don't have it in front of me right here. Now, the time adjusted sale prices, they range between 193,300 to 271,300. The time adjusted sale prices per square foot range between $95.27 per square foot to $135.87 per square foot. I actually, so related to the late evidence submission saying that the basement is not finished, I actually received another email from Lian yesterday. It was a late on Monday, not yesterday. That actually showed photos of the basement as finished. It's probably about 50% finished. There is one room, what looks like a hallway, and then a bathroom that are down there. So with what we have at the 50% does appear to be roughly accurate. There is a larger increase, which I believe kind of touches on the initial submission of the applicant showing the 3 assessment notices. There's a larger increase on this assessment related to changes that were made to the property to reflect what is actually accurately there. The changes were not processed in supplementary notices. They were instead left for the reassessment cycle. So they all got reflected only in the reassessment. They wouldn't have been seen previously, which is resulting in a larger increase than what would be typical. The changes are related to upgrades that have been done. So the kitchen cabinets were done in 2016, plumbing fixtures in 2016, electrical wiring in 2016, furnace in 2015, shingles in 2013, windows in 2014. So there was a fairly substantial renovation done between 2013 to 2016, basically a 3-year window where most components of the house were upgraded. We also added the basement finish at that point. I don't think it was the full basement finish that was added, but I think it was an increase to the area. And we did speak with the owner at the time prior to doing these changes and verified everything that we needed to do at that time. It was not myself that did it, it was a colleague, but all those changes were verified. And it was all actually done related to a change of use permit and a structural alteration permit. These were related to changing it to a single family dwelling, but there does appear to still be a separation at the entrance and a second kitchen. So realistically, to change this back to a multifamily as we currently still have it valued would essentially take nothing from what I can tell. So we are valuing it based on what is there. So I'm looking at it as a multifamily dwelling, even if it is only being used as a single family dwelling. The fact that there is the kitchen and there is the separate entrance is enough to reflect it as a multifamily dwelling. The current assessed value is 234,000 or 114.15 per square foot, and I believe that that value is supported. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Assessor. Do you have any questions you would like to ask the assessor at all?
No.
No?
你有冇来吗？
佢講唔得。
You will get a chance to present your information.
Okay.
But I don't, if you have any questions of what the assessor said right now, this is a chance to ask.
佢講話好 OK， 要兩個廚房，要唔係賣嘅時佢係要兩個廚房嘅 ，OK， 佢而家係出到屋嚟嘅，然後尾多 kêu mình quay hủy đi quay ăn thì cái một tôi kêu gì à
你问他问哪里的吗？
quay hai cũng mừng nữa mà tôi xem mình tôi có một lên một厨房啊嘛我可能會附人嘅，即係會影貴於會附人嘅小錄嘅。
When we first bought the house, we changed it to like a single family, but then when we bought it already, like it already had 2 kitchens.
Okay,
So, like-
before you continue, you're
Uh-huh.
doing a good job. We're gonna give you a chance to present all that in a minute.
Okay,
Right now, we're just gonna ask questions of the assessor, and we're gonna have the other board members ask questions of the assessor, and then we're gonna turn it over to you to tell
Okay.
us all that information, okay?
okay.
Ms. Schultz, do you have any questions of the assessor?
Yes, I do. Mr. Assessor, based on the upgrades to the home from 2013 to 2016, were these not reflected in the assessments from the 2020 and 2023?
No,
No?
they were not. No.
Okay. And do we know that 50% basement finished? When was that done?
At the same time.
At
So
the-
all of these changes were all reflected only into the 2025 assessment.
Okay, so none of this had been reflected in the previous assessments.
Correct.
Okay, thank you. That's
Thank
all I have for Mr. Assessor.
Mr. Dongel, any questions?
No, I don't, not at this point. Thank you.
I just had one question, and that would be, you say you feel, Mr. Assessor, that it could still be used as a multi-family dwelling as opposed to a single family dwelling because of the separate entrance and the kitchen, I believe you said there's a kitchen. What would be the impact on the assessment if it was a single family dwelling as opposed to a multiple family dwelling?
I truly don't know. I didn't look at any single family comparables because of what is there does reflect it being a multifamily. So I wasn't looking into single family comparables just because I'm looking at what is actually there.
Okay. Thank you very much. That's all my questions. And now I'm gonna turn it over to you to tell us the information that you would like to present.
Okay, like I said earlier, my dad said that like before we bought the house, it already had 2 kitchens, and when we bought it, we like try to make it like a single family house. So like, yeah, nobody knows all much.
佢講到為咗個硬車房或者摩車房啊，咁
我幾時講要車房啊？
佢講要點講係要硬車房
冇車房啊，好硬嘢咁講。
得翻嘅
啊，
佢講唔可以要硬車房，或者呢佢講佢份嘢可以要硬車房。
冇車。Another thing is that there's only one person working in our family, so like when we first bought the house, it was like cheaper than other houses because it's in downtown.
Yes.
And as of right now, my mom's the one that's working, and we can't really afford it.
Okay,
house
Yeah,
that's okay.
that's all we have.
That's it. That's your information. Okay. Mr. Assessor, do you have any questions of the applicant at all?
I do. Thank you. So you did have the property listed in 2020. Did you have any offers to purchase at all at that time?
你先買屋，你先人估價好嘛？
佢識價嘅是2萬五，因為賣嘅是6萬8啊嘛。
One person offered 235,000.
Okay.
你先冇能賣，佢有乜單唔賣？
Yeah, we didn't sell the house because it was like way below what we were selling it for. So
即係佢冇揀好叫你講啊，你同佢好叫8年嚟到，
quickly to them.
佢哋你真係 A 水會貴啊，反而 double 係你講嘅。
剛佢講為真個廚房啲嘢啊，真為啲錢，你真 basement。
OK，你 A 定咯，為買屋嚟先，係 10萬蚊嘅你講嘅10萬 OK。
你頭先講嘅點講點
你講向 你成10幾萬機呢 OK，你只成我真好幾年，你成你一本咯，講當然。
一個先老公都係月亮，
我同你講過嗰陣，我買先係7萬 OK，我真好你先，你成12萬係 OK 嘅，12萬機啦，我講下，嚟，呢個講，我真好你先，我係月亮OK，月亮2年，你成你一本已經 OK 噶啦，你講嘅我買完先係7萬蚊咗，我真好成一本乜你而家嚟講。
即係我嚟 test 要兩。
Yes, we got the email.
Your pen?
A pen? Sure. Okay.
Thank you.
Computer.
我買先係7萬，先呢個先鬧。
May I just interject for a moment? It looks like those are, if you look at the top of them, assessments of your property. And if I'm maybe understanding this correctly, is your father trying to get you to compare the amount of money from one assessment to the next assessment?
No, he's just saying that when we bought the house, it was only $70,000, and like for like I'm not sure why for the 2020 assessment it went up to 126,000.
Okay,
And he's saying like why? Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
So, just to clarify for everyone, we are not comparing assessments at this time. We're comparing actual sales of other properties that the assessor feels are similar to your property. So we can't take into consideration as your previous assessments or other assessments of other properties because they could be wrong. So we cannot use that as evidence. But if you have any information, it can even be verbal about sales that you think are relevant. You could enter that as evidence, just indicating. Okay,
老公佢呢用冇話你咪加佢嘅，唔幫你屋唔喺呢度圍緊屋嗰個嘅，都喺呢間屋嘅喎。
呢邊佢一兩年咯，3年時間，佢成咗我成10萬，你叫估到個門嘅，識嘅叫佢估到。
咁啊，佢講揾呢支唔可能係清楚㗎，唔可以用揾呢支啊。佢講你咪用啊，佢喺下面啲屋都用揾屋嗰個。
No，你屬於乜3年對係個 couple，你講你換嘅，你講嘅，OK。
I'm still asking about how like how is it possible for a house to go like double the amount that it was in 3 years?
well, I think that I'm going to turn that question over to the assessor, if I may, who has presented information about sales in the area, other multifamily dwellings, that he feels are comparable to your family's dwelling.
Okay.
It's just related largely to the sales in the neighborhood to reflect the fact that there have been some upgrades made to the home. And I do actually have a question about that too, related to what you have already mentioned. So you mentioned the second kitchen. Is that second kitchen still there?
Yeah, it is.
Okay. So yeah, the reason why it's increasing is entirely related to reassessment cycles using new sales data. And then on top of that, for the 2025 assessment, there were changes made to the property record to reflect upgrades and the addition of basement finish that we did not have on the record previously. So the larger increase that you saw between the 2023 to 2025 assessments is related to all of those characteristics being included in the 2025 that were not there in the 2023.
Thank you, Mr. Thiessen. Ms. Schultz, do you have any questions of the applicant?
Yes, I do. The applicant, so you indicated that you had the home listed in 2020 and received one offer of $35,000, which you felt was less than what you felt the house was worth. What were you listing the house at in 2020?
265,000.
Okay.
Just to touch on that as well, the last listing price was 258,888.
Okay, thank you.
Lý có nghe
And what was that? Is that the 2020 listing?
Yes.
Một
Okay,
cái
thank you.
không liên bạc. Yeah,
Okay,
liên bạc sự bạc mà.
that's the only question I had. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms.
One
Schultz.
mile is 10 mile.
How would mine is you?
Okay,
Dạ, Lăng
Mr. Danjel, do you have any questions of the applicant?
No, I don't. Thank you very much.
I just have a couple of things. Has the kitchen been upgraded in the home?
我真的我妈也是疯妈妈。
xem cô còn mà真讲那下来真讲，你讲样我跟你出ตัว的时呢，还是两个 unit 嘅 OK， 我归完一个 unit 的时候呢，我估计拆嗰個廚房，但我會問人啦，對，我會問那個政府那個交人那個，你唔使拆咯，關你就我遲都 OK 嘅咯。
As of like before we rented out the bottom half of our house, before we wanted like only one family to live there, and after renting it out, like my dad filed for like a government to make it one single house,
Right.
and they said that we didn't need to remove the kitchen, or just like.
No, I'm wondering if there were any upgrades done to the kitchen. Was the kitchen fixed up? Your kitchen upstairs, I guess.
Upstairs?
Mhm.
Not the one upstairs.
The one downstairs?
Yeah, only the
Okay.
one downstairs.
Was any of the plumbing changed?
我真国内水嘛，真的宿舍里面啊。
你水真有一半，
喂，
即係要你盲真講，但係要佢揾時你那紅滾 OK，係啲水盲真講啲水，
都真宿舍里面啊。
魯所真講，真一個魯所，basement 嘅魯所。
Yeah, the basement bathroom.
Okay, thank you. And there was some finishing done in the basement?
Yeah.
Okay. And were the shingles replaced on the house?
真我那时真有个小屋人啊，
屋樣，
屋人啊。
真講，
Yeah.
呢兩年真。
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. And did you get some new windows for the house?
我真我那头嘛。
呢堂唔係真講，嗰陣時之前要㗎啦。
No, we had them already.
Oh, you had them already
Yeah.
prior to your purchasing the house?
我買嗰陣時要㗎嘛。
揾衣櫃，考揾衣櫃，
Actually, we only changed one of them.
Okay,
Yeah.
鴨爛嘅先，咪鴨爛嘅
Because
揾
someone broke it.
okay,
Yeah.
okay. Thank you very much. I think all my questions have been asked and answered. I don't know if either of you have a summary. Mr. Thiessen, do you have a summary?
I'm okay, thank you.
Okay, and I guess that's all the information you wanted to present?
Yeah, that's all.
Okay, thank you. You did a really good job of
Yeah.
presenting all the information. I know it's not easy. And we've now finished your portion of the agenda and we will move on to the next item on the agenda. So you are free to leave or you can stay if you'd like to hear the next applicant as well.
Okay. Thank
Okay.
you. Got one. Got one.
Voilà. Thì tôi là cậu nhất đấy.
Yeah, một mùi ấy bữa là hai cũng là.
Tức là cái lúc vớt tôi bằng nhiều vì chia phòng nó bằng nhiều vì làm nó bằng nhiều vì
Cái mùi mùi nào?
cứ vì làm ăn tiếp cứ vì làm ăn gọi vì làm ok.
Hai cũng là.
Hay có
We will get back to you with a written decision as soon as possible.
Okay.
Okay, but we're gonna move on to the next agenda item now, which is 524 Wardlaw Avenue.
Wow.
You're free to go. Thank you.
Great.
không mọi người dân
Wow. Wow.
có khi tới được chả
Cái có phát trường đấy như vậy không?
khi tôi một phán danh gì đó
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Have a good day.
You too. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Applicant, can you hear me? Oh, I think you're muted at the moment.
Here we go. I'm just gonna mute the YouTube, okay? Just 1 second, please.
For
Okay.
sure, yeah.
Okay, there we go. Hi, Lo.
Okay, hello, I'll just have you affirm, so please state your full name,
Joel Russell Burr, Renotech Homes Limited.
of course. Do you affirm that the evidence you're about to give at this hearing is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, sir, I do.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll turn it over to the assessor to make his presentation, please.
Thank you. The subject property is located at 524 Wardlaw Avenue, rule number 120-216-89000. It's located in the McMillan neighborhood. It is vacant land, zoning of R2, two-family, and lot size of 5993 square feet. It has an internal corner influence. The comparables are two located in the McMillan neighborhood as well. They're all vacant land sales, and then the other two are located in the Crescentwood neighborhood. They're also all zoned as two-family. The lot sizes range between 3,871 square feet to 6,001 square feet. There are land influences on the properties comps 2 and 3. Both have the bus route and traffic influences, one being light and one being heavy, being located either on Grosvenor or on Corridon. And then comps 1 and 4 have commercial adjacent and influence. And then comp 1 also has the same internal corner influences as the subject. The time adjusted sale prices for these properties range between 247,000 to 401,100. And the time adjusted sale price per square foot of lot ranges between 48.34 to 83.42 per square foot. There were two sales on the property prior to the reference date of April 1st of 2023. One occurred in February of 2022. It was a private sale for $350,000. And then one occurred in 2019 in September for $320,000. The applicant did provide information to me earlier in, I think it was earlier this month, that there is a neighborhood zoning overlay, and that they can only build 2 units on the property based on that zoning right now. Now, related to that, comp 1 is actually in the same affected neighborhood, and its sale price supports the current value. It's sold as a vacant lot with a building on a 50-foot wide lot, same as the subject has, and was demolished virtually immediately. And then the lot was subdivided, creating 2 new lots of near equal size. So that could potentially be an option for the subject property as well. Given that it is in the same neighborhood right nearby, reflects the same neighborhood zoning overlay, and did occur prior to that reference date. So given the current assessed value of $267,000 or $44.55 per square foot, I believe that the value is supported. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Assessor. Ms. Schultz, do you have any questions of the assessor?
Not at this time, thank you.
Mr. Applicant, do you have any questions of the assessor?
No, not at this time.
All right, Mr. Danjel, do you have any questions of the assessor?
No, I don't. Thank you.
I just have one question, and that is the subject sale February 10th, 2022 for $350,000. Was that before the demolition of
Yes.
anything on that property?
Yes.
Okay. That's all the questions I have. So I'll turn it over to the applicant to ask any or to make your presentation, please.
Thank you. Good morning, panel. Yeah, so I just wanted to point out a couple things on this property. I did most of the transactions on this property over the past several years. I purchased it originally. It was represented to me by a realtor. It was a COM-free type sale. Purple Bricks, I think, was the listing. I did purchase it based on the realtor indicating to me that we could rezone the property for up to 6 to 8 units. So my land value was calculated based on that, and that's what we did. So when we purchased it, upon applying to the city planner for variance and whatnot, we were informed that there was it was actually quite deeply buried at the time, a very old zoning overlay that affected that property right at the corner, actually, that captured that property, that it could only be used for 3 units. It was a triplex at the time. It was in very rough shape, but we thought we could rehabilitate the project or the property in order to maintain the character, maintain the 3 units, using the existing stone foundation. We had extensive studies done. We had engineers come in with multiple discipline engineers, spent literally tens of thousands of dollars on professional fees, studies, plans, the whole thing. And we had plans drawn. At that point in time, we determined it wasn't feasible. The house was just too far gone. And I had somebody that was actively buying up property, and they bought a group of properties from me, and this was one of them. They weren't aware of that zoning overlay. It was up to them to do their due diligence on that. And then ultimately the property was repossessed by the lender, and we purchased it back for what I believe was the fair market land value recently, just this past fall or late last summer. So we did the demolition on the house. We had to have an engineer come in again because the city was not letting us demo the house, even though there were people basically living in the house, having sex in the house, using drugs, including intravenous needles in the house, setting fires upstairs to keep warm. It was a total ridiculous thing. We could not do anything with the house. Bylaw enforcement was sending me registered letters, but nobody was saying, go ahead and tear down the house. You can do that. They wouldn't allow it. So finally, we got an engineer to come through, paid him $8,000, and he wrote a report stating that this house is unsafe. It needs to be demolished immediately. Nobody should be going in it. And then at that point in time, we went through basically a 3-month process of getting a demolition permit with PPD, and finally demolished the house, disconnected the sewer, disconnected the water, disconnected the electricity, leveled the property, and it's sitting as vacant land right now. There is a church across the street. There's a roundabout just up the street. There is a lot of traffic that goes up and down that street. There's also in the backyard, there's a hydro pole with a guide wire strung right across the back, and hydro says they cannot move that or do anything about it. So there are some negative influences to this property. To speak of the good parts about the property, I love the neighborhood. I always have. I believe in that neighborhood. Even though I feel it was being even more gentrified, and it's actually gone down now since COVID, as a lot of inner city neighborhoods and downtown neighborhoods that I've been involved in are, unfortunately. So for this property, I believe I paid a fair market price of $185,000. It cost us $35,000 to $40,000 to demolish the house and have the utilities disconnected. Again, it took a huge amount of time dealing with the bureaucracy that is the city of Winnipeg. I don't feel the house is worth, or the lot is worth, anywhere near $200,000. I don't want to subdivide it. I don't believe in that type of densification. I believe in maintaining the size of the property, as well as the existing trees, vegetation, the neighborhood look around there. I really do believe in the neighborhood, and that's why I bought the property back, even though I had sold it previously, and that's why I bought it in the first place. Now, that being said, the city of Winnipeg has signed on to the federal housing program to intensify building. I was told by the city planner, Andrew Ross, that they have no information on that as to what they're doing with the specifically with the Osborne zoning overlay, and to contact him at the earliest next spring in 2025. So the property will sit vacant until then, at least. We are hoping to do you know, like a really nice triplex or a fourplex, maybe with a front entrance and back entrance. But at this time, it's just not feasible. So it's really kind of a ugly duckling, if you will, and it's just sitting there. And yeah, I don't really have much else to say about it overall. I mean, I did speak with Drew about it at length. I've sent in that typewritten overlay that we found online now, and I just don't feel that that the land value of $267,000 is anywhere near that, because I know what land's worth. I'm in the business, and there's no way anybody would pay that for that property, given all of the issues surrounding it. Thank you. I'll close with that.
Thank you very much for your presentation. Mr. Assessor, do you have any questions of the applicant?
I do. So thank you very much. The subject sale that you had mentioned did occur in September of 2023, correct?
The initial sale or
The one you just bought back?
Yes, 2023 fall it closed.
Okay, so that would be after April 1st, 2023, so it would be post-reference and not applicable for this reassessment cycle.
I'm not sure what it means.
Yeah, so anything after April 1st, 2023 would be considered post-reference for the 2025 reassessment cycle and wouldn't be considered for this reassessment cycle.
Okay, so you're saying that my application is not applicable to this particular.
Your application is fine. Just
Okay.
that your sale itself can't be reviewed
Oh, I
for
see.
this. Yeah,
Okay,
because it did occur after that date. So
I understand. Okay, I wish I would have known that before, you know, going through the process and spending an hour and a half on the phone. But maybe that's my ignorance, not knowing. This is the first time that I've done this as well. So
okay.
Thank you.
And you demolished it fairly recently. That was done, I think, in June or May of this
Yeah,
year.
just about actually just about a month ago, I believe the permit closed. It took over 3 months of dealing with the city to just get the permit issued back and
Okay.
forth. Not to mention the engineering and everything before that. So we're still actively caring for the lot in terms of vegetation and cutting grass and the boulevard and stuff like that as we can, as it's getting long. But there's thank goodness there's no house to deal with now, because that was just unbelievable.
Okay. And you said that you don't desire to pursue a subdivision of the lot, but
I do not, because I don't, to me, that's not what that type of area, that block, that specific area, they're all pretty much beautiful, large character homes. And I don't want to pop up one of those tall, skinny, I just don't think it works there. That being said, would it be a good investment? Probably, but that's not what I have in my mind. I've done extensive development on heritage buildings, including the old Wayne Arthur Gallery at 186 Provencher, which is now the Standout Beauty Salon and Academy. And I believe in bringing back the character of the neighborhood when I can, which is why I tried so hard and spent so much money to salvage the existing house that was there. Unfortunately, we just couldn't do it. So, I mean, that being said, I'd like to do something different there that would fit with kind of the church across the street with arched windows, red brick, that kind of thing. That is my dream for that property. Whether I'll come to realize that, I don't know yet. But that is the goal, and that's why I'm holding on to the land until such time as we know what's going on with this agreement between Winnipeg and the federal government.
okay. But given the 50-foot lot width, do you feel that it would likely be approved if you did decide just changed your mind and wanted to go about that?
I've gone through subdivisions previously in non-heritage type areas, non-character areas, and they took almost a year to get through from the time we did the application, dealt with planners, dealt with the land surveyors, to the time we finally registered at land titles. I have no interest in doing that with this property. I don't know if it would go through, given the fact that I can't even get 3 units approved on it due to the overlay. I have serious doubts that I can do anything there The controls there in terms of what they want with the overlay, height, character, basically the planners are becoming architects in demanding what should be there. So I don't think there's any possibility they would approve a split kind of regular house build, one on each side of the lot there at that property. I don't believe, I wouldn't even, I mean, I could reach out to one of the planners, the area planners, but I don't think that would happen.
Okay.
That's my feeling. So.
Okay, I have no further questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Donjol, do you have any questions of the applicant?
No, I don't. Thank you.
Ms. Schultz, do you have any questions of the applicant?
Just one question. I know that the assessor had said that, you know, this is based on the post April 1st, 2023. Your 185 minus what your cost is to demo, what do you feel that the land is worth?
About 220.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
That's all the questions I have.
Is there any summary on the part of the assessor or the applicant at all?
Yes, so I just wanted to restate that comparable one is affected by the same zoning overlay. It was subdivided and it did sell for 265,000, time adjusted to 289,900. And we do currently have the assessed value at 267. So I believe that sale itself does support the value, given that it is basically the same lot size, was subdivided, was approved, and has been done. Thank you.
Mr. Applicant, do you have any summary you would like to make?
Yeah, again, I do this as well for a living, and I feel the price I paid was very fair. As a matter of fact, I feel I may have overpaid for it because I am somewhat emotionally involved and attached with this property. And given the exact spot of this property and the influences surrounding it, the church, the street, the hydro lines in the back lane, the corner, the roundabout in front, I don't feel it supports $267,000 or anywhere near that for a vacant lot.
Thank you very much for your presentations, both of you. I think we have heard all the items on the docket today, so we will end the session. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Bye-bye.
You too.
I'll go turn off the TV.